monitor. Okay, here you go. All right, and it's really good to see all of you. So let me just, Sue's going to be recording this. It's good to see everyone. Hello, Marcus. How are you? Really, really good to see you. And today's going to be really, really short and sweet because, as you probably guessed, we are in the middle of a launch. Make sure that I can hear what everybody has to say here. Make sure I got your questions out. You got the questions, Sue?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so just let me know if anybody has any questions, all right?
Okay.
So here's what has happened. We are launching too many things at once. It seems to be that at Network Empire, where it rains, it pours, probably because, darn it, it's a blessing and a curse. Sue programs and develops and manages everything all at the same time, and then just it all launches at once. So we have, here's this, I'm going to give you some announcements. We are going to be shortly launching what we promised, the Pain Finder. We have a new logo for the Pain Finder. Pain Finder will be able to extract questions. It's what I call question curation. You'll be able to curate. You guys are going to be the absolutely first to get, we'll go ahead and announce to you guys a few hours before we get it to everyone else so you can start getting in. Also, we'll give you priority access. So the Pain Finder software, let me just see if I can log in real quick, show you what's happening.
We're still making some final tweaks to it, so it's definitely beta. But
yeah, it's totally beta, but it's going to be a strong beta.
Yeah.
Let me just go ahead and get you guys a quick view. I'm not going to do anything on it, but this is what it looks like, like weight loss, or let's say curation. It'll pull the synonyms for you. Hopefully it won't crash here because we are in beta, but go ahead and edit
it'll be
it.
fine. The one,
okay, cool.
the one thing that you need to know about when you first log in, you can log in with your Network Empire username and password. And the one thing you need to know about is you need to go into settings and put in your Quora username and password before you try to create a project. And that's the one issue that I've got outstanding. Other than that, I think it's all working well.
Okay. And we'll be providing everybody with exact instructions on how to use this. But just a quick overview, you can see web content curation was one of the synonyms, and actually this is just a topic, it's a separate topic. But it pulls back all the questions. What I love about it this is the first version. I have plans for other things. I have wicked plans, actually. But what we're doing here is you can see that what I want to bring to your attention here is the views. So it's pretty clear what in the market is of interest to people, especially when you start seeing the answers. What are the best content curation tools for daily use, right? Okay, so these things are all here. You can find out automatically what these things are pulling back, and our scheduling and programming becoming more important in content abundant world, okay? As you go towards the bottom, you get less and less interest, but sometimes you find fringe things. What are the best content curation tools for professional librarians? See, there's a niche within a niche specific, and I actually have somebody in our curation course who is a professional librarian. Okay, so that's a great question. There's not been a lot of views, but there's been enough to possibly consider that. And what happens is these can become supporting articles, and you can just create videos on it. And in the new course that I have coming out called Question Curation, which you guys will have by default, I'll be showing you how to curate questions as supporting articles, and you always, always, always start with a video. Which brings me to my next discussion. Okay, the video content, the video curation course is live. Okay, we're going to drop the link for you here. Let me just go ahead and right here, networkempire.com members-area/video-website-silo-architecture. Let me see if I can drop it right in the, if Sue hasn't already,
I have not.
the chat window. Okay, I'll drop it into the chat window here, and boom, there you guys go. You guys can log in with everything that you have right there. It's a new course. I want you to understand the thinking behind the course. These are some of the specifics that I didn't quite have an opportunity to show you guys in the curation lessons and the brief overviews we gave you at the live event. We had an overview environment where we were giving you the big kahuna stuff, and we didn't get really, really specific. So I'm going to talk to you about what I really, really, really want you guys to be doing and focusing on. All of it's the one feed stuff, okay? Everything that you've already got with the one feed. If you've got the one feed stuff down, you'll know all of this. Okay, and you really should be having the one feed stuff down. Okay, so it starts out in course 1, what is website silo architecture? Hopefully that's a nice review for you. And there is what is the website I'm sorry, what is video website silo architecture is the beginning. Okay, and part of this course is that we've noticed, and you guys probably have too, is that it's really, really easy to get overwhelmed with technical details and forget to sell. So you probably, I guess we're getting a resounding yes on that one. I've gotten this from lots of people. WSA and WPA, website silo architecture and website persuasion architecture. I just want to zoom in a little bit more on that topic with you guys so that you understand what's going on. The overlap of those two is what should be happening. And I made that a little bit overcomplicated in 2012 when I brought up the concept of cybernetics. So instead of calling it cybernetics, we're going to keep it a little bit simpler. Website silo architecture with website persuasion architecture gives you the best possible SEO plus the highest possible conversion at all times. Okay, so that's what this whole course is about. And we're doing it through video, which is something you can sink your teeth into, and you really know what's going on. Okay, so each module is got about anywhere from a 5 to a 15-minute video with an audio overview, which is my simplification of it, and then a quick, here's a discussion with Bruce Clay saying if you're not using video and your competition is, then your competition wins. Okay, so this whole course was designed to make sure that you understood that video persuasion and SEO website silo architecture need to be combined together. Okay, good. So what is website silo architecture? There's a refresher course. Okay, then what is persuasion architecture? And we're really trying to give you kind of a capstone idea here of all the things that you should have covered. Like literally, if someone came to me and said, hey, what is the most important thing I should cover first? And I would probably send them to this course, not because the courses that Sue and I have built, like the simple ISDNA or the quick start ISDNA, is not better, but because it's all addressed in here. We tell people to go back and please cover your ISDNA quick start. So literally what we've done is this is a frame. This is my frame for video and persuasion on top of all the highly technical stuff that Sue and I have done previously with the perpetual lead magnet machine, okay? And I think the reason it'll be helpful is because it's got video as the focus, okay? In other words, I'm really, really tired of hearing from people who try to do all the technical stuff, but they've never written, or they've never done their ISDNA. And then they come to Sue or me like 2 months later and wonder why they're not selling anything. And they've got this beautiful SEO structure and nothing compelling on the site at all to purchase anything. like they've got, everything is perfectly lined up. They've used DWS. They've got all this stuff. And then when Sue or I ask them, like, what the hell? We find out, have you done your ISDNA process? We find out that they skipped their entire quick start ISDNA process. Right? They've got their frequently asked keywords, but they don't sell anything very well. All right? So that's what this is designed to do, is to help you get your videos on there. Okay? I want to bring to your attention in this module, and this is for you guys specifically, the what is persuasion architecture. Okay, this is module 3. I have a bonus module in here, and it goes over what we went over in last month's webinar. Okay? But I thought about this with you guys. Persuasion, architecture, mastery, comparison. There's 3 bonus videos in here where I go over that chart because I had a lot of questions from you guys after I went over that. Okay, so that is here in succinct format. Okay, the persuasion, architect, mastery, comparison chart. All right, so look through that course. There's one other thing. Choosing a video style or video script. Most of you will know all that. The index page covers some super basics. Nothing as in-depth as you got at live certification. On Start With Why and Your Biggest Idea, I give you 4 tips on how to choose your big idea for your homepage, okay? Because every one of you should have that big idea video on your homepage, okay? Then we get into basic silo landing pages, which are really sales pages, okay? Or at least conversion, edgy sales pages. And then the supporting video articles. None of this is different in the structure or form of website style architecture. The difference is the persuasion and how you do it. People ask me, do you have to have a video on every silo landing page? No, definitely not. Sometimes that's too hard. But I have a client right now, for example, she's got like 13 silos. Part of it's because like Sue helped her build the silo stuff, so it's like huge. But the thing is that that's cool. But she does not have a video on every silo landing page, right? That's fine. Now that she has this model, now that she can look at like, what is video website silo architecture, And as simple as it seems, this diagram, sometimes just showing your client like, hey, don't forget, you should have videos on all of your pages. When I showed her this, she was like, oh. And then she was able to create a plan where now, over the next 5 weeks, she's going to be adding a video to some pretty high-ranking silo landing pages that are already ranked for several silos. But she just now has a schedule because she...
Russ, I think we lost you.
Testing?
There you go.
Oh. Testing?
Yeah.
Okay. How long have I been gone?
Just for a second.
Okay. I don't know what it is. I had told her through email and client phone calls and the rest that she needed to add videos to her silo landing pages, right? Some of them are ranked position 7 and 8. Some of them are on the second page for some pretty competitive words. But as soon as I drew this pretty diagram for her, for some reason she realized that she needed to have videos on those landing pages. I don't know what it is. Wish I'd taken that 10 minutes, to give her a diagram, 6 months ago. Because now she's got her staff scheduled out to put videos on her silo landing pages, okay? And it's true with her supporting articles. Some of her supporting articles, she already has videos on her YouTube channel that could go on those supporting article pages. And until I drew her out this diagram, she didn't stick those there. So you guys remember to get your clients to put their videos that they already have on the appropriate supporting articles. And do keep in mind that this is a permanent site. This is not your blog, your frequency of publish, your what Sue talks about as theme mirroring with your blog. This is just your regular site, okay? If it's appropriate to put a video on that site, please do so. So that's what we talk about in that particular function. So the main thing I want to talk to you about today is, we quickly cover hosting and video players. I also introduced the new video player that's got social media and an Aweber opt-in right within the frame. You guys might want to look at that. I'm having some pretty good results so far in launch testing, but I'll let you know over the next couple of months how well that's doing if I get any significant opt-ins. Also, the auto RSS syndicate, I give some basic insights on the one feed, and this is an opportunity to sell individual one feed products to the regular membership base, of which you guys are not, so don't worry about that. I just want to introduce them to the concept of one feed, so you guys should be way more advanced in this, and you should know everything that's in the one feed course. Okay. What I want to cover today is the promoting and curating your videos manual. I want to make sure that you should already have the video thumb trick. Okay, I gave you some of that stuff at the event. And then creating a video and blogging schedule to main topic authority. Sue and I don't think Sue's going to be around, but if she is, she'll be on it. This Saturday I'm having a webinar, which will then be the part of the number 12 module. Just basically going over all this, a blogging schedule. All right, so the main thing I want to make sure that you guys walk away with is promoting and curate your videos manual. I want to make sure that I haven't over-complicated the issue, because every time I talked to someone yesterday, every time I talk to one, it's clear that I've just confused the hell out of everyone. So I've gone ahead and added this into this module, the double bonus Russell's personal 1, 2, 3, 4 punch quadruple iframe. And we're going to go over it here. And if you guys have any questions, since you are our most elite community of private members, I need you to just tell me that you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about, if in the event that you don't, okay? That's going to be in this module. We're going to go over it here today. I'm going to go ahead and just chat that in. Okay. It's very, very simple, you guys, okay? You must have a Storify account, either free or paid, in order to do this. Okay, and it's one of my favorite methods, and I target this mostly the 1, 2, 3, 4 punch I'm showing you is best used for industry news or company announcements that can be spun as news. Okay, so you take your published video, which we go over very in depth in this course. Okay, the previous modules we already show both advanced and beginners how to publish to YouTube. You create a story around that video on Storify. Okay, and it doesn't have to be your own video, but I recommend that it is. If you're going to start story flipping industry news, you can use other people's videos as well and still hijack a ton of their traffic from their videos in this method. Okay, this is the most powerful method that I know to hijack people's stories, press releases, videos, information, insight, how-tos. When you get really good at this, you're going to be blown away at how it works. Okay, scoop the storify. Okay, the first frame is going to be putting your video into your storify story. That's your first frame. So if you think about it, you know, your YouTube video is just an iframe, right? And you put that iframe inside storify, which is going to end up becoming another frame. What you end up doing is you're kind of stacking frames. Okay, and this quadruple punch I'm showing you is really, really effective. So you scoop the storify story in the correct Scoop It magazine, which we talked about a little bit. So think about that. That's the second and third frame inside Scoop It. So you're going to be getting traffic. It's really funny how it works. You get traffic all different ways. YouTube drives traffic to your video directly. If people hit the description of the video, they're going to hit either the storify story, if you have the storify story link in the description, or even your blog, which could have the storify under the news section embedded, which brings us to number 4. Okay, you can tweet the storify story, by the way. That's optional. That's minor. And the optional syndicate the Scoop It magazine RSS feed using the one feed concept. Roz has all of our Scoop It RSS feeds syndicated as well. That's optional. Okay, that's nothing to do with framing. The 4th frame is embed the storify story in a blog category on your blog called Industry News. Does everybody understand that? Okay, and this is the part that I lose some people on. There are ups and downs about this. We could get into a huge conversation with Sue about frames, and we're not going to do that today because I just know it works. I'll take the traffic. This is a traffic method, which notice I'm not recommending that you do all your blog posts in this way, okay? I'm talking about things that you only have 4 minutes and you want to get a ton of traffic and hijack a news story with 4 frame stacking. Take example, WordPress plugin hacked. W3 total cache may be compromised, okay? I got not huge amounts of traffic from this, but you understand it took me 5 minutes and 45 seconds to create this, okay? I'm probably exaggerating only by 3 or 4 minutes, literally. I know it took under 10 minutes. My friend Dan Thies sent me a warning about W3 total cache, all right? And so what ended up happening, you can see this is a free storify account, and that's going away because I've upgraded. But the main thing here is that Dan Thies warns of a cache, and also I really shouldn't have 2 headlines in this. This is pretty ugly looking. So I'll send you guys an example of the new format that I've got laid out. Bottom line is that this is the 4th embed, okay? You got the storify story on your own blog, okay? And so you can see kind of what ends up happening. And I do recommend a paid storify account if you can afford it. If you can't, that's all right. You still get tons of traffic. Literally, I got to tell you guys, for 6 minutes of work, the traffic that I'm getting from this, it's not through the roof, but I do have stories. If I check back here in a month, they'll be well over 2,000 views on this for 5.5 minutes worth of work. But not only that, they come from all kinds of locations. They come from Network Empire directly. They come from Storify Story. This was just launched a few days ago. They come from Storify directly. Storify gives you direct traffic. They come from Network Empire. News, okay, it's the embed. And they come from Scoop It. Scoop It stories, when they go viral, because of the stack method that I'm showing you, can go through the roof. Like if something goes viral even with 4 people, and then they embed it and they do things, this is what happens when you start getting traffic from every which way. I consider this a bad story, probably almost a waste of time, but it's still driving traffic, isn't it? Okay, and by the time they get to your golden frame, they have the opportunity to take action, don't they? All right, they're going to have, I always do a call to action at the bottom of a story for a story. Please join us, okay? Get to the free members area. You should always drive them with when you're giving them a complimentary story, add insight and news, but also create a call to action, okay? And also, they have an opportunity to opt in. They have an opportunity to purchase. Somebody commented the other day that I really need to work on my golden frame in here, and that's true. So I need to have more sales tabs. Like, what you want to do is offer, stay focused on the news that's in your industry, and then if you have a product, offer a banner that's got a solution to that product, okay? So that's really what the 4 stack frame is doing. Now keep in mind that all of those things can then be, remember, if I embed a storify story inside my own blog under the news section, those are the only ones I'm really embedding, the RSS feed from Network Empire is going to go out through the one feed system, right? Because we have a one feed set up. So you start getting traffic every which way. You check back in a few months, and sometimes these stories have thousands upon thousands of views. The more evergreen they are, And also, guys, I wouldn't spend more than 10 minutes on a story that is real-time news? Because it's not going to be relevant. WC3 cache hack is not going to be that relevant 2 months from now, because that hack's been patched already. So for 7 minutes, for 400 views, not terrible. It's not that bad, and probably a couple sales, right? So that's not that bad. So I want you to know that literally it takes me 9 minutes to do this entire process now. Now, not the one feed stuff. You should have that outsourced, which we talk about in this course on the one feed. We talk about ways to outsource it. Also, in creating a video blogging schedule to maintain topic authority, we talk about Stu's whole, what we set up with our blog boost mechanism. And this is not to pitch the blog boost only, it's to say, hey, people, it's amazing, a conversation I had yesterday, people were talking about, they forget the value of blogging. Sue was telling me the other day, when we stop blogging, when the Network Empire team stops blogging even for 1 week, we notice up to a 30% decrease of traffic, recurring visitors, and significant decrease in sales, you guys. So you've got to blog, and what I just showed you, this 1, 2, 3, 4 punch, is the fastest way I know to have traffic 15 minutes from now and sales an hour from now. I can consistently do that as long as I set up the story properly. And this is, on this call, we're not talking about the proper way to set up a Storify story. I do have an individual course coming out on that soon, and you guys will be the first to get that. Okay, but again, we're in the middle of launching the Domain Web Studio Lite. We're also in the middle of launching Cora, Pain Finder. I should leave the word Cora out of it, sorry, because we're going to add other functions. But that's what I wanted you to realize is the value of frequency of publish. Sue helped me recognize that value by pointing out to me, by the time we get it to outsource, and by the time we syndicate to all those places, and by the time, that's not even counting the time of the expert to write the original article. I recommend 80% of your articles written by an expert. 20% of those articles can be outsourced with a guest writer. Like even Roz is starting to write some courses and articles for us. And he's kind of becoming an expert in his own right because he's around us and he's starting to learn our standards, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about, is just remember, for non-members, this is not your price, you guys, by the way, if you want to outsource blog boosting. We charge non-members around $500 for monthly just for the 2 blog posts per week or 8 per month. And when we really look at that, that's 5 blog posts per week. If you were to do it every day, we'd be charging people retail $1,000 a month to do that. So I've just shown you one of the fastest possible ways to do that at much less expense under your real-time news, curation. All right, any questions?
Russ, if I can say something here for a second, I'm going to shoot you a link in Skype. We've got a page that I'm working on at the moment for advisor special offers, so that these are like your guys' prices. Nobody else has got access to
Exactly.
this.
What I just gave you guys was the retail price, and I wanted you to be aware that in the course that you guys are super special, and sometimes, actually, we haven't done that great of a job of segregating you guys as much as I can with emails because I assume that you know that, but I need you guys to know that before you ever purchase any thing, make sure you talk to Sue or myself on Skype or whatever. You guys have special wholesale pricing. Okay, so I don't see the blog booster.
Yeah, I don't have them in here yet. But
okay, but
this is where they will be.
Yeah, we have a blog booster price for you guys. And again, this is not a platform pitch. This is you're entitled. We're letting you know what's coming. Okay, I'm not selling you the blog boost. I just want you to have that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch so that you realize if you want to do blog posts faster, quicker, and cheaper with huge reach, follow that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch in that particular module. Okay? That was my that was my project to bring to you today, because I talked to another certification member, and she understood about Scoop It, and she understood about curation, but she didn't really understand 1, 2, 3, 4 frame. And I became aware of it in the video course, that when people don't start off with video, not only are they skipping the first frame, but they're not enhancing their persuasion architecture as much as they could, because video converts, guys. Forget about it. What did Bruce Clay say recently? If your competition's doing video and you're not, you're screwed. If your competition, and I'm adding even more, if your competition is doing video regularly on a daily or weekly basis, like the blog boost implies, then you're double screwed. All right, so that's what you have to remember. Also, the one feed, when you have that set up, keep in mind that the one feed is only as effective as your frequency of publish. Okay, that's why we offer the different publishing rates. Okay, so obviously the reason I want you to have this blog boosting schedule and a fast way to blog if you can't afford to outsource it or do it, do giant. I'm dealing with clients right now, you guys, that these are amazing authorities. This is what you got to watch for, okay? They're amazing authorities, and they take time to write 500-page freaking blog posts. I mean, here's a client of mine right now. He's one of the most brilliant people that I know, okay? And what I'm doing right now is helping him understand that it should be 80-20. He doesn't have time to write 4 blog posts a week that are 2,000 pages long. Okay, here's an example of him. He writes amazing stuff. He's known all over the world. Mother Earth News promotes his heirloom seeds. Okay, he's my neighbor and we work together quite frequently. He's also fairly tech savvy. But you look at some of the articles that he has, and they're very, very long. Okay, and his newsletters goes out, but some of these posts some of the posts that he has are 5,000 words. Guys, that's too long for a blog post, especially when 90%, actually 100% of his articles are free. And guess what's missing? What's missing from this? What's missing from this supporting article, you guys? Besides a video, nothing. A video. That's what's missing. Okay. So what I've tried to get him to do is start adding video to stuff when he can, and most of the stuff he can. And usually, I'm not saying you have to do all of your stuff in video, but as much as you can, it would be helpful to start ramping up. And the time that he discovered, he actually emailed me yesterday, he discovered that the time that he spent creating amazing written content for his market could be reallocated to set up his video studio, because he has really amazing videos that go viral. One of the videos that we have on Healing Grapevine Network is got over 9,000 views on genetically modified seeds. Okay, and he just simply did not take the time to stop and put those videos on his own site. So we got all the traffic, see? So that's the main thing I wanted you to be aware of, is that you've got to start adding that dimension to your own stuff, okay? That's really all I have to say about it today. Are there any specific questions that I can help you with in your specific case with specific clients?
While guys are taking a moment to type that in, I just want to say Marcus said something about he wrote an original poetry piece about the 16th Street church bombing. It's the 50th anniversary, and he's betting that he's going to get a lot of traffic off of it. And one of my NPO sites many years ago, when we had the very first International Day of Peace, we wrote a blog article. It was actually a website article on it, and the next year we wrote another one on it that was underneath it in kind of a pseudo-silo structure. And because this was actually like 2004. This is before we really got into silo structures, and we're still ranked like somewhere between number 1 and number 3. We haven't done anything else to International Day of Peace except for those couple of evergreen articles. We get a tremendous amount of traffic off of that every year when it comes around. So any of those kinds of memorial type days that are germane to your market, you can spend a little bit of time cultivating those keywords, and then it's just hands-off traffic year after year. So
it is, yeah.
It's a little bit of a diversion about what you were talking about, but then you can also do a blog post like what Russ was talking about, one of those quick and dirty blog posts that takes you 9 minutes to write, and then you've also got a new topic coming up in the news every year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also would like to address, Marcus, I know that you use something other than SoundCloud. I remember you talking about it, and that's fine. Keep in mind that SoundCloud nests perfectly into Storify. In other words, the player, which is beautiful, and remember the player and the design and attraction to those players actually increases its click-through to actually listening to your poetry by thousands of %. So they have the player embedded properly into Storify. In fact, I've got some interviews with Sue. Let me just double check and see if I can find one of those now. And I'm just kind of addressing your specific case. Get the upgrade to SoundCloud because, let me go look at my stories. I think I'm already logged in. SoundCloud, the player just plays right in Storify, so you're going to get some extra traffic and not logged in. But you'll get extra traffic on that. Also, SoundCloud can be syndicated through your Facebook wall. I don't know what it is about Facebook and audio, but I just get tons of plays from the audio when I syndicate them on our themes in wall. Okay, so again, in the same way that you saw the different traffic sources on Storify, audio will be another source of traffic. In the SoundCloud description, I put a link to the Storify story, or better yet, to the blog post, which is, again, only tweet yourself. Storify is just a hub, okay? Make sure that they get to your own golden frame, ultimately. Right. That's why I do embed them in the fourth frame, okay? And so it's very, very powerful. Marcus used another thing. I have a friend who's a poet. She's actually a pretty, she lives in Berkeley, and she is a huge writer. She reads her poetry out loud, and I was just laughing because she sent me a video the other day of her poetry, and she said, I'm sorry, this isn't a really dark read. It had something like 3,000 views. This horrible flip cam video of her poetry reading out loud. Do not forget that, okay? Can you do a Storify story on a poetry reading and spin it as a major news announcement? Yeah. All right? So that's what I'm saying, Marcus. Don't forget, read your stuff out loud, do it in HD, get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And that's how it works. It's just going to happen.
Yeah,
that's all I had to say.
That was what I was thinking when you're talking about SoundCloud. I'm like, wow, it would be really great if you can just take that extra minute and turn it into video. The audio is cool, but the video gets you the, okay.
If you're a poet, do both.
Cool.
Okay, I've tested this. If you're a poet, music, Marcus and I had a huge talk on this.
Okay.
Poets, musicians, you're in a genre of your own. That's why they have unique platforms for you. So SoundCloud started out for musicians, and you're also using, what is that, Play Flip or whatever? You're using some other theater. Okay, so always strip the video, always strip the audio from the video and upload to, it wasn't SoundCloud, it was, what are you using, Marcus? Reverb Nations, thank you. You're using Reverb Nation that's directly tied to audio musicians and poets and storytellers. Okay, you guys have a world all up on your own, which platforms have been specifically built to you. Go ahead and take the time to pull the audio from those videos. Okay, you view them as unique traffic sources and put them both in your Storify store or on your blog post. Okay, I would never say this if you were not a musician because it doesn't pay off in the tech industry. Tech industry doesn't want to sit around and listen to you talk about SEO all day. Poets, authors, storytellers, writers, charismatic speakers, spiritualists, ministers, yes. Strip that audio, use them as a unique location. I've got tons of musician friends on Kauai. All of them are getting huge amounts of listen rates on Reverb Nation and on SoundCloud.
Interesting.
The reason that works is when you go to a fan page, the player is sitting right there, and people are on their Facebook page, right? And they're like, "Yeah, I'd like to hear a groovy tune." I did this with my friend the other day, like on my own SoundCloud. Okay. I've got a friend of mine, she's a professional musician, she tours, and she just does great work, okay? And she gets tons of plays because her poetry musician, here's another audio from Sue that went in, it's gotten quite a few plays. Yeah, the cool thing is that, her name is Mason. Morphing Amoebas, right? She gets tons of plays because they're playing right on Facebook. So Marcus, make sure that you're running both Reverb Nation has a nice Facebook player as well. Put that through to your friends because that's where you're going to get a significant amount of plays, but always put a link on your Facebook to the page that you want them to visit as well. People are in Facebook and they'll just click play, and they'll be sitting there walking around like their house doing their cleaning, listening to your poetry. Okay? And they might get to your main page, and they might not, but at least eventually they will. It might take you 5 or 6 different, things to go through, audios to go through that page. Now, when it comes to podcasts, I still get plays to my podcast on Facebook when I put this sound through, but eventually they're going to hit my website, right? Okay.
Would you Would you consider doing an interesting but incomplete, like a shorter version of it with a cliffhanger or something like that?
I always do. In fact, I leaked all of these. I leaked these. The reason I made these audios so people could get a sneak peek, and all of these ran through Facebook, more or less.
Okay.
Okay. All they do is they give not all of them, but I think half of them. I did 80-20. I think I did 20% of them. And the ones that I thought were free, I just get a little insight and say, here's what we cover on audio, okay? But for Marcus, if he's reading the poetry, he can put the entire thing on there. Or he can decide that interestingbutincomplete.com, like we discussed at the event, 20% of that can be complete, and the rest of it can be a nice tease, just driving them. You know, poets and musicians need to give some of their stuff away, but they give way too much away. So that's beyond the scope of this talk. Point is, when you're an audio musician or a studio musician or a poet, use SoundCloud to get some stuff out there through your Facebook environment, and then follow up with a link, and eventually they'll start hitting your site. Okay? It's just a quick thing specifically targeted to Marcus, no one else. Okay? All right, that's all I have for you guys today.
Okay, we don't have
Anybody
any questions coming through yet.
Okay, so Marcus, check out that module where it's got the 1, 2, 3, 4 iframe. Start thinking about how you can do that. Start doing it at least twice a week and start kicking some extra traffic to your site. Okay?
Excellent.
All right. This has been Sue Bell and Russell Wright. We can't wait to see you guys on our next webinar. And if you guys have any question at all, there's going to be a shitstorm, pardon my French, over the next month. You need us at all, specifically Skype, either one of us. You know, Sue might be away for a few days. That's okay. You can Skype me. My Skype address is ThemeZoom, ThemeZoom. Just remind me that you're a certification student. I should recognize all of you by name. And I'll let you know what's going on just in case you have a difficult time getting through or something like that, all right? Because you guys are our best. All right. I have nothing else. Anything else you have to add, Sue?
I don't. It's been great to talk to all of you guys again. Thanks.
We'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
The organizer